Welcome, everybody. This is the Game Informer Show. That's right, the Game Informer Show, where we inform you and sometimes ourselves about games. I'm your host, Ben Reeves. I'm here to talk about some games. Anybody else?
Yeah, here to talk
Yeah,
about some games.
Let's get some enthusiasm here. Brian Shea, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. We also have Dan Tack on the line.
Hey, it's great to be here. Always glad to be a guest on the show, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And last but not least, Alex Stadnick.
You like to love them or love to like them. I think that's what you said last week.
Is that what I said?
Something like that, along those lines.
Love to like you.
Guys, what a Nintendo Direct. Wasn't it crazy when they announced all that?
I was just going to say, later on the show, we're going to break down the whole Direct. We're going to talk about all the things that are exciting about that show and maybe a few that weren't. And remember that thing that was announced that everybody was like, whoa?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about
Smash Brothers thing.
Hey, don't spoil it for us, Brian. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But first, we should probably, like we always do, start off with our playlist, the games we're playing these days. Dan, you want to start off?
Sure. Well, Bravely Default 2 has been taking a lot of my time, but we can't talk about that just yet.
You already did.
Well, yeah, I'm allowed to talk. There's all kinds of rules and restrictions, but
Beep that out, Alex.
there is a preview. There's a preview at Game Informer you can check out if you want to know more about like what's changed from this installation to the others. But anyway, I've been playing a lot of that. But stuff I can talk about that I've been playing. Valheim is probably the one that most people are talking about out in the world today. Vikings, survival.
Yeah. So this is like a crafting game. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah, you know,
I read a headline.
In a one-sentence shell, third-person Viking Terraria is not too far from reality. Obviously, it's not exactly correct, but if you want to understand it in a sentence, that's what it is. It's very easy to get into compared to some other survival games. PvP is not really a thing, so you don't have to worry about your base getting grief when you're away. You can play it with 10 friends. It's very cozy, very comfy. It operates on the rules of survival as it's a bonus, not a penalty kind of system and structure, whereas you can't starve if you don't eat food, but if you do eat food, you're much better equipped to handle the elements and the creatures. You're not going to freeze to death at night if you're outside from your shelter, but you're going to get bonuses for resting if you do. So you don't have to worry about filling those meters up all the time, the hunger bars, the thirst bars, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Is that what you mean when you say it's like comfy or cozy? Because usually I don't think of survival games as comfy. I usually think of them as somewhat stress-inducing. Like I like some of them, but they do have that layer of like, I got to do this or I'm going to die, right?
Depends how you play them, right? And depends who you play them with. Like Rust, I can definitely understand that. In Rust, it's constant tension, right? Of what's going to happen with this encounter and that encounter and all that. With this, it's more like we're together. We're in this together. You start off, I think the pacing of the game is very welcoming. The first area is like very, very chill. You can stay there forever if you wanted and just like farm boars and deer and hang out in the meadows. It's very pastoral, very peaceful. They do get a little bit, they get much more dangerous later, but they give you time to work into that, right? So by the time you're fighting goblins and death skeetos, those are deadly mosquitoes.
Death skeetos?
Death skeetos.
Now I'm
by the time you're fighting that stuff, you're more prepared to handle it. You've got a lot of tools at your disposal. You've discovered a lot of things that help you traverse the game, from boats to portals. All right, all that fun stuff.
Now this is one of those early access games, right?
It is totally early access.
Does it
PC only at the
feel
moment.
pretty, like pretty much like there's a whole game here already?
No, there's half a game here already, and I think people are going to start hitting the content wall soon. At least the very aggressive players. I think a lot of people will take another month or two with it. But the ones that have been there since day one, pushing content with their crew, they're going to start hitting the content wall, and they're going to be like, well, this was fun, but there's another year of development underway, and there's still like a bunch of content that isn't in the game yet. But what's there is fully playable, not that buggy, usually works, and very enjoyable. It goes in a path. It's very structured. Biome 1, Biome 2, Biome 3. There's some cool sequence breaking and discovery among it, but that's the general order of things is Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, so on and so forth.
Where'd they come up with the names?
I would guess Norse mythology.
Yeah, well, and hey, Norse, like what a novel approach there. It's good to see somebody's finally tackling Norse, right?
Hey, now.
Isn't it weird to think, like, I feel like just 5 years ago, that would have been kind of novel. Like, I don't think there were that many Viking games 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like, in general, I think companies love to tap into world building that's already done. right? This is not a jab at developers or anything. I'm not saying they're lazy. This is not that comment, okay? Before I get attacked for that. I'm saying, like, those worlds are already built and developed and awesome. So if you've got a ground to start on and you can put your own spin on it, hell, why not?
Definitely.
Yeah, I like Norse.
And this is a unique enough gameplay tack that I think that I guess I'm not faulting them for that. I am curious, Tack. You are a connoisseur of all things Twitch. Why do you think this is taking off so much right now?
I knew somebody was going to ask that.
I'm sorry.
I didn't think it was going to be you, Alex. But all right, so
you're not smart enough for those kinds of questions, Alex.
What we've been experiencing on Twitch, on the stream scene over the last year, even, has been a rapid shift of games that are really good streaming games in their own right, but have been absolutely propelled to stardom by COVID, by the fact that everybody's inside and our social experiences, for many of us, have been online. 100% or very close to 100% online interactions. This definitely had something to do with Among Us taking off. Definitely had something to do with Fall Guys taking off. Both of those are great games, by the way. But becoming the phenomenons that they were, this is the thing. Now, Valheim, I think the fact that it doesn't focus on PvP and other elements that some survival games lean into, and that it's easier to get into, the comfy aspect, if you will, has made that really powerful for its stream scene. It's Rust recently experienced a resurgence there too, but here comes Valheim, the very, very, very small indie out of nowhere, right? Again, it takes the perfect storm. New thing shows up on Steam. People are looking for a new game to play. I mean, I check the early access page every single day, and I go down there and I'm like, well, let's see. I like this, this, and this. I was there day one on Valheim. I was like, what is this? And then I summoned the Metal Deer God, and I was like, this is pretty freaking sweet. All right, I'm in.
Dear God.
So then I'm like, okay. To my friends, I'm like, okay, we're gonna check this out. I'm gonna go get a server. We're gonna play.
You're like, dear God,
a Metal Deer God. All right.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It seems like you're pretty hot on this. You've already written a bunch of stuff on the site, like some guides and stuff, which people should check out.
I am hot on it, and I put the caveat in there that yes, this is early access. Yes, there's only a certain amount of content, and I just can't wait for the quips and chirps from the peanut gallery when people stop playing it in a month or two of being like, Dan, you said this game was cool. Everyone stopped playing it. Well, it's not done. only about half the content's there. So talk to me in a year when it comes out. We'll see what happens. They've got a lot of money now and a lot of attention. So hopefully that game can get a ton of polish and work done on top of the roadmap they already have.
Yeah, it seems like they're off to a good start. So that's exciting. Valheim. Check it out. Seems like it's pretty cheap too. It's what, $20 or something?
Yeah, $20 to get in, and and it
sounds like a great starting point. You've been playing anything else, Dan?
Sure. Nioh 2, going back on that for the new edition or what have you. 4K, 120 FPS, all that jazz. It's fun to get horribly mutilated all over again. It's been an interesting experience. A little bit easier the second time around, actually. That's been pretty fun.
But what made you want to replay that out of all the things you could go back and replay?
Well, because there's no news on Elden Ring. Okay, no, that's you always have to have a Souls-like in hand, right? If you're a Souls player, you've got one that you're looking at to go play through either again or for the first time. And Nioh 2 has tons of replayability, even though it can get kind of stale. That's one of its weaknesses. There's so many missions, just like so many missions, like. And a lot of them are very similar. A lot of them reuse assets and yada, yada, yada. But after the Souls games, the Nioh games are the ones to play. They're juicy and they are a lot of fun in their own way. They are. I always say this, like the Souls games, they're not going to hold your hand, and they are, they can be tough, but there's behind the scenes, they're cheering you on. They actually do want you to overcome the challenges and give you that euphoria of taking on the impossible. Nioh doesn't want you to win. Nioh wants to kill you in the most malicious and mean ways possible, and it really revels in that. And you've got to kind of like be playing back at the bully there, because the game is a bully, and you've got to kind of enjoy that back and forth between the bully. Like you know what? I'm not putting up with your today, all right? And you're just going to give it back to him like that. With Dark Souls, it's more like, wow, big challenging thing, and I feel really good for beating it, and that's awesome. Neo's just like, you know what? F you.
Also, thank you for censoring yourself. I appreciate it.
Jay, you've convinced me to not play it at this point.
I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hang on,
But
hang on.
I'm sure there's people out there who are like love that, and it's a good reminder to go check
That's
it
not
out.
the only element. Okay, if you are, I will. I do warn people though. I mean, it's a legit warning. But at the same time, there's like ways to progress in that game.
Mhm.
So you are making progress, and you can over level and over gear and all this other stuff to the content, and you can play with friends, 2 friends. So
Oh,
that helps a lot if you want to get through.
yeah. Well, speaking of friends, Alex, how's it going?
That's good. That, that was so kind after your initial jab at me. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I was saying, is that what Dan was saying?
Oh, yeah.
That
You were saying
you're
what
not smart
everyone
enough
was
to answer.
thinking.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
you're such a delightful person. What have you been
Thank you.
playing?
I have been playing a grotesquely delightful game that I think Mr. Tack has also been playing. And that is Little Nightmares 2.
Oh, don't get me started,
Oh, I
Alex.
want you started. Let's get it going here.
I could gush about this game. I want you. It's your stage. It's your show, bud. You take it away. But I got some stuff I want to say before we finish this topic.
Hell yeah. As I said last podcast, I had recently caught up with the first game and the DLC for the first game to get ready for this one. And if you haven't done it, definitely go do that. Um, the lore in it in the second game is not necessarily overwhelming, so I feel like it's still a good spot for newbies to jump in. But it has those nice interlocking like threads that I think is makes it more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, there's definitely things in that game where I'm like, I'm glad I played the first game, and I'm also glad I played that
Yeah.
first game's DLC.
Yeah, for sure. They ratcheted up the horror in this game. I think at least I'm 3 levels in. I think I think they've already shown this and stuff like that. But the school with the teacher is scarier than anything else in the first game, and I was losing my mind playing it. There was a couple of times where I had to pause and I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. But
There's a lot of body horror in this game, a lot of like people stretching in odd directions and weird angles. So if that's like something you don't dig,
mixed with,
or if it is something you do dig, maybe seek help.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But I think what's so effective about it is its sound design with that disturbing imagery. Like playing that on a surround sound, probably too loud for my neighbor's liking. It has been a really great time with it thus far, and I think I am benefiting from just playing that first game because the improvements are so impressive, and I think center stage, in that I love that I'm not falling off ledges because of the 3D 2.5D like imagery of it. Like I love how much like the lighting is incredible in it. I think I think they took whatever the 4 years between the two games and really buffed up the visuals on it. And I think my favorite part of it though is playing it with my girlfriend and my girlfriend's sister, which wasn't the plan, but like one day my girlfriend's sister was like, "Hey, like what is that? Like what is that game?" I was like, "Oh, I'll try it out." And we've been so into it, and like it's kind of like watching a scary movie together, right? When a scare hits, that is just amplified by 2 other screaming people and throwing the controller, and it has made it even more fun. And now like that's kind of a routine that we get into. I'm not playing it until my girlfriend's sister, who is vaccinated for COVID, by the way, comes over, and I think it's just amplified my enjoyment a ton. So that's a little bit more personal, obviously, but Attack, I'm curious to hear what you're thinking on it.
If one word sums that game up, it's atmosphere. I cannot believe what they do. And I keep thinking about this. Like I don't go to sleep at night without thinking about the elements of this game, how they come together. It is fascinating to me that they weave this tale of terror with no dialogue and no text. There's no notes to read, there's no stupid notes to pick up around the house. Everything is conveyed through the environment and the action. And I'm a big fan of environmental storytelling. I always praise the Souls games for that kind of thing. And it is fantastic going through these set pieces as you do. The game ain't perfect. The combat that they added, I didn't love, but it is a vision compared to the first game. I played the second game first and went back to play the first one and all the DLC. And you can just see the improvements shine through. This game's incredible. It's really incredible. Like anybody who tells me that games aren't art, I'm just going to throw that game at them, and then that's it. It's done. The conversation is over. Like it is an interactive art piece, and I don't, me, I don't normally go for puzzlers, and I don't normally go for platformers. This is a puzzle platformer, and I don't care. And I don't care because of what the game delivers, right? It's just this very, it's a story. It's a playable story, and we don't know for sure everything yet, and I'm certainly not going to go on any spoilers, but it's fascinating to go through. Just fascinating. Every area is well thought out and well designed. Everything has purpose in that world. Everything is just so. Like, this mannequin is here. This is the element of the school here. It's like going through a storyboard. It's incredible. It's like the Pixar film from the deep. It is like it is. It's so good.
It feels.
I wish I could play it. I wish I could play it again for the first time every day.
Wow.
Every day. Good grief.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, immersive, and I was so surprised. I thought it was like, whatever. This is like, and no disrespect. I like Limbo and I like Inside a lot. This game takes those sort of energies, the same sort of genre energies, and just like dials it up to 12. Forget 11. We went right past it.
I think you're insane. I love
Maybe
Limbo,
I am.
I love Inside. So I've heard a lot of people praising Little Nightmares too, and I want to say that I've enjoyed the game, but I just want to offer it another perspective too, just because like I've heard so many people praising it that I went in with maybe expectations a little high, and there's some jank in this game. Like you mentioned, the combat is pretty rough in parts. Like just the timing is really hard to nail, and there's a lot of parts of the game where it seems like the game expects you to know what to have to do. A lot of trial and error parts where you're like running through platforming areas and you have a limited amount of time and you have to know exactly when to jump, let's say. Not a ton of that, but some of it, and enough to frustrate and annoy me a little bit. And then there's a little bit of like I ran into one part where having to solve this puzzle where I needed a fuse, and the fuse I needed, I popped out of the socket and then it just disappeared. And I thought it had flown out of the room and I had to keep solving the puzzle in another way. So I spent like half an hour trying to solve a puzzle, not knowing that I was missing a piece. So that's obviously a bug, but I ran into a couple of situations like that where like a bug was sort of ruining my fun. So it is a little bit more polished than the first game, but it's not. I kind of wish they'd taken a little bit more time to like just refine it even more, because there's enough rough edges on it to kind of annoy me.
And we do,
unlike Limbo and Inside, which I think are super polished. So I think if that game were this game were as polished as those, I think you might be right, Tack, but I don't think it's there right now.
I hear you on the trial and error thing. I got super frustrated with some of those, but I think one thing the second game really improves upon on the first, having just had the benefit of playing back to back, the checkpoints are way better in the second game. You don't have to go through the same segment again. Like, there's checkpoints everywhere. So when they get you with some stupid thing that's really annoying, like, you make it past all the demon kids and then the bucket flies down and hits you in the face. That's like the biggest example that I remember. I was so pissed when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, all right, there was no way to avoid that. There was no way to know that was coming. But like the checkpoint is like 2 seconds away, and it's like, whatever. I got over it. I hear your points absolutely. I think just like, I guess the world in this really sucked me in more than Limbo's and Insides.
Yeah, I'm the same way. The maw in that first game was so intoxicating. I just wanted to know everything about what was going on, and I feel the same about this world that they're running through right now. And I know we want to move on from it, but like, I think there was an inherent loneliness in that first game and mystery of like who Six was and where it was and where she was and stuff like that. And I'm loving the co-op dynamic between Mono and Six. It feels like you're sharing in this world with another person, and that gives me a little bit more, not confidence playing through it, but I like the mechanics of that, and it hasn't felt like you have to drag the AI with you, right? If for the most part they've through my playthrough, they've felt pretty on top of like what animations they need to do and what tasks they need to accomplish. So I'm really liking that so far. It's so
nice.
good.
It's also nice to see a game that has two characters in the game and they don't feel this need to like, well, we got to make it co-op now because there's two characters in the game, and then they can do things where like you're separated from Six for maybe a minute, and the game is fine. They didn't have to cram co-op in there. I kind of appreciate that from time to time.
I agree. Very good.
Cool. Little Nightmares 2. Hey, I don't want to sound too down on it. I am still really enjoying the game. I just wanted to offer that alternate perspective.
For sure.
You know, go in with some expectations that there's a few rough edges, is all I'm saying.
Maybe wait. They've said that the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions coming later this year. Maybe wait till then. But I think I love the game a lot so far. So you're excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Brian Shea, you been playing anything?
Yeah, I haven't been playing Little Nightmares 2. I've been wanting to play the first one first, and I've just been putting it off. But Dan used the term playable story to describe Little Nightmares 2, and I've also been playing a playable story, which is Final Fantasy X. It is it's one of my favorite games of all time. I play it probably every 2 years. I'll replay it at this point, and I have a really good friend who has not played it before, so we're playing it kind of through together and doing kind of like almost like a game club style thing. And it's super fun. I just love going back to it every few years. It's easily one of my top games of all time. It's my top RPG of all time, and for personal taste, I won't say it's like the best RPG of all time, but I'll definitely say it's my favorite. It has like the perfect mix of nostalgia, and it has still aged fairly well. It's not completely inaccessible or unapproachable for somebody coming into it in 2021. And it's just a fun story to go along with. So that's my playable story that I've been playing. And then I've also continued playing Super Mario 3D World, which we talked about last week. That's still super fun. I'm going around trying to 100% it.
I just got my copy today, actually, so I'm excited to dive in finally.
Just a really great game. Did you play the Wii U version?
Yeah, I did, yeah. But I don't think I 100%ed it, so I'm like, well, this might be a good opportunity to go through and get everything.
I had not played the Wii U version, and I like gobbled it up this weekend. That's all I wanted to do. There's a nice level of creativity in the levels that I wasn't expecting. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a couple of nice. There's some really, like, if you love Mario and you've played it, there's a couple of really cool levels that bring that up, and I didn't think it was going to grab me quite as it did, because I haven't even touched Bowser's Fury yet, but I can't stop collecting those green stars, and I'm really enjoying it. Similar to Little Nightmares, the camera angles bug me a little bit sometimes. Sometimes it is a little too structured, and I can't tell, my depth perception's off, but that's a minor complaint. I see now why people crown this one of definitely the most underrated 3D Mario game.
What I like about it is it's a 3D Mario game, but it's structured like the old school 2D Mario games, where you're not going around in big open areas. You're doing linear, quick hit levels that are these kind of curated, structured playgrounds that made the 2D Mario games so much fun. But yeah, we already talked about that last week. If you want to hear more, you can go listen to last week's episode of the Game Informer Show podcast. The other game that I've been playing, Benjamin Reeves, is Rocksmith 2014 Remastered.
Oh, what?
It is. So I loved games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. I still play Rock Band from time to time, but Rocksmith, it is like Guitar Hero, but you use a real guitar. And it teaches you how to play like both basic techniques and also like songs of your choosing. Like each game comes with like different song lists, like a Guitar Hero game does, and then you can buy DLC. So it's like, all right, I really like Alice in Chains. I'm going to buy the Alice in Chains pack, and now you have like 12 songs by them, or like Rage Against the Machine. So you can just fill your library that way, and I definitely did.
So they're still selling, like, that store is still open. You can still buy new stuff.
It's still open. I don't think they've been populating it with anything new for a while, but you can definitely still buy the songs. There are some problems that I've been having where like my guitar is perfectly in tune, and I'll go to like a certain fret and it won't pick up perfectly, which is a little annoying. But like I know I hit the right note, but the game doesn't recognize it. And I'm using like the Ubisoft True Tone. After I bought the game, so it was on sale. That's why I did it. Like I bought it like the end of last year. It was like $4 on Xbox Live, and I was like, oh, I've been wanting to like pick guitar back up. It's been 15 years since I've been good at guitar. So I bought it, and then I realized, oh, I need the cable, and I looked up the cable, and the cable's like $35. So I ended up spending more on it than I thought I was going to. But yeah, it's super fun. I'm learning how to play some cool songs. It's still like very bare bones versions of the songs because like I have it on dynamic difficulty. So as I get better, it increases the difficulty of like the parts and like fills in more notes and like makes it so, all right, that thing you were playing notes before is now like power chords, and now the power chords are now full chords. And that transition's a little rough. I think sometimes it has a tendency to rush you just a little bit too fast through some of those. But if you feel like stuck on any of it, they have like a bunch of tutorials and like lessons that you can take built into the game, which is really cool.
That's cool. So if you're interested in getting better, or you think if you have no skill coming in with guitars, do you think that would help you? Like that'd be a good starting point?
Yeah, because there are like very, very basic lessons. Like, and it tunes up for you every single time. Like it has like an interface on the screen where you can tune up, and then like, yeah, there's everything from like different techniques to play. Like it really is like built for people of varying skill levels, which is really cool.
Great. The hottest news on the 6-year-old game. There you have it. One thing I love about Rocksmith is the studio that made that this is the same studio that made South Park: The Fractured But Whole, which is just
really?
wild to me. Yeah, there's those. I don't think those games could be any different. But I remember we did a cover story on that, so we went and visited the studio, and they're like, "Yeah, this is our Rocksmith area. It's just a bunch of people with guitars," and you're like, "Oh, so weird." And I don't know what they're doing now. Who knows what that studio is up to?
Nice collaboration, maybe.
Yeah, they're probably just helping to make Assassin's Creed games or something at this point.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, I think that's about wraps it up for the playlist. Good talk, everyone. Let's, as we teased earlier, let's take a break and then come back and talk about some Nintendo stuff.
Nintendo stuff!
Welcome back, everybody. We're here to talk everything Nintendo. Gang's all here, as I like to say. You guys ready to talk Nintendo?
Oh boy,
yeah.
You talking Nintendo to me? Nintendo just yesterday had a direct. It's like the first full-fledged direct we've had in what?
530 days.
Is that what they said?
Yep. It was
like over a year?
September of 2019.
Oh my gosh. That was great. I was going to say 6 months, but it turns out it's been
They had a bunch of mini directs, but they haven't had like a full-fledged one like this for a long time.
We got lots of nindies pumping out.
Yeah. And so maybe my expectations were set a little high since this is the first normal direct we've had in a while. It wasn't exactly a barn burner, right? I wouldn't say.
Wow.
Unless that barn was already on fire.
Yeah, I must have missed it.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff. It wasn't like a lot of stuff that I'm really excited for, you know?
Yeah, I feel there's some good stuff in there for sure. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, what's the alternative? They just send this stuff out in press releases. Like it makes sense for them to bundle this stuff all together into a direct. It's just kind of one of those things where we've conditioned ourselves to expect so many things from a direct.
Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Like
Dan hasn't conditioned himself to expect.
I know that the super fans are going to go rah 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 no matter what. But I think based on what we saw, that there's going to people didn't just want Breath of the Wild 2. Obviously, that was one of the big things missing. But across the board, I think this probably set expectations a little lower than most people would have wanted. Is that too much? Am I out of line here?
I know I was a victim of my own expectation, and I bought into the hype of the Zelda HD collection, and and seeing the one last thing of Breath of the Wild 2. So I definitely walked away. I don't think it was a train wreck like some people are saying online, but I definitely was, like I said, a victim to my own expectation.
Yeah, sure.
I want to temper it real quick. Sorry, Brian. I want to temper it real quick by saying nobody has really had great presentations in the wake of the necessities after COVID. Everybody's stuff has been downplayed from 100%. You know what I mean?
Sure,
definitely.
There was one PlayStation thing that was good, wasn't it?
It was all right. Yeah, I mean the one that I had to correct like 10 million mistakes after it because like everything was wrong. Hey, remember Demon's Souls for PC? I do.
Never forget.
Well, let's just get into it. Let's just talk about what are some of the highlights for you guys from the show. Brian, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so there were 3 that really stuck out for me. The first one was Mario Golf Super Rush. I love the Mario Golf games. I like most of the Mario sports titles, but Mario Tennis and Mario Golf have always been like the headliners for me. And it's been a while since we've gotten a mainline Mario Golf game. I think 2014 on 3DS, Mario Golf World Tour was the last one. And this one is seeming to bring back all the stuff that people love about the series, plus adding a new mode. So there's the story mode that people loved on the original Mario Golf games, and then with like RPG progression and everything. So that's cool. And then there's also a new mode called Speed Golf, I believe it's called, where
you're saying golf.
Jared Goff, quarterback.
Seems like you keep saying golf.
All right, settle down.
Well, I say. All
right, so Dan, what's yours?
Man. Are we already moving on?
No. I also want to mention Skyward Sword HD, which I have never played all the way through Skyward Sword, just because I just really didn't like the motion controls, to the point that when I interviewed Eiji Aonuma at E3 2019, I said, "Hey, I would love Skyward Sword with no motion controls. Is that even a possibility?" And he said, "No, I think that's probably pretty close to impossible, because like the motion controls are so integrated into the system, like into the gameplay. I think it's going to be pretty close to impossible." Like, he laughed about it when I asked him. So,
and it turns out like this game still has them.
Well, it has motion controls, but it has a button mode as well. Like, you can do it, like you can control using the right analog stick, I think.
Which is
I'm excited.
Yeah, I definitely, if they didn't have that and you had to play with Joy-Cons, I was like, I'm out. Because I think at that point in time I was kind of burnt out of the Wii motion controls. But the fact that there is that option makes me more intrigued. I guess I've never played this game. Why is it so damn divisive? Like, there's sites out there that gave it a 10, and then there's other people who are like, this is like bottom tier Zelda. Like, I guess I haven't seen many Zelda games that have those kind of like differing opinions.
Well, if there's anything anybody can agree on, it's Zelda games.
Yeah, I don't think it's still bottom tier in my book, but it's definitely not top tier either. It's we did give it a 10 though, to be clear. Like, Phil Kohler reviewed it back in the day and he gave it a 10. It does have some really good dungeon design and some really good bosses, like some of the best in the series, I would say. But there's so much padding in that game between the dungeons that just feels like a slog to get through. So from one dungeon to the next, it just feels like you're going through a lot of busy work. And that is the part that really drags the game down in my book. So if they can speed that up, if they can like fix some of that, that'd be great.
Well, I mean, they fixed some elements of Wind Waker HD, so hopefully that means they can do the same for Skyward Sword HD. By the way, the quote from Aonuma that he gave me in 2019 was, "So you're saying control it all with buttons? That's a little hard. I think it might be close to impossible."
Close.
So,
not fully.
Close, yeah.
They've done the impossible, everyone.
They've done it.
They sure did. I
was really
Aonuma on a chair. You did it.
I was really hoping for my Link, Zelda 2.
Yeah.
Game. I would really love to bring back that old the old NES game, the second game in the series that was all weird side-scrolling thing. But if they updated the visuals on that thing and did some quality of life upgrades, man, I think that game would be cool.
We want like a Link's Awakening style remake of it.
Yeah, kind of, basically. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I think there's some things they could tweak to the mechanics and whatnot, but overall, like, I think that game would be pretty fun.
Or
even a spiritual successor, like just something in that vein, but new.
I want the thing that everybody wanted was the 3D collection for Zelda, where it was like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, using like the assets they used in the 3DS version, and then Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD brought over from Wii U. Like, that would have been a showstopper if they just brought that over, and that's work that's already mostly done. So it's unfortunate they didn't. I mean, they'd probably have to up-res the textures from the 3DS version and then like swap away from the second screen experience for the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. But like, that seems like it's pretty much a home run for them if they wanted to do that, and probably less work than doing Skyward Sword HD with no motion control options.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully when the game comes out, the Skyward Sword will be upgraded and smooth over some of the rough parts.
So my final hype announcement out of this was Splatoon 3. I adored the first Splatoon. I thought the second one had a really cool single player, but the multiplayer was a little bit of a step down from Splatoon 1. And the soundtrack was definitely a step down from Splatoon 1, which I think Splatoon 1 has some of the best video game music of all time. But Splatoon 3, I think that hopefully they've learned a lot of lessons from the first two games, like using them as like games as service. They experimented with like their own version of Horde mode in Splatoon 2. I think they've really gotten the single player elements, which are probably the most underappreciated parts of the Splatoon series. Like those single player campaigns are a lot of fun. Hopefully they carry over that expertise into Splatoon 3, and it seems like there's some cool stuff going on, even if it's just like a little bit of a teaser that they gave us today or yesterday. Sorry.
Sure. All right, cool. Well, what about you, Alex? Do you have any big highlights?
Definitely. And I have a question I want to go back to with Zelda, but I think my main highlight outside of Mario Golf was Project Triangle Strategy.
You took mine.
I thought I would, Dan, and I apologize. But let's talk about it together. It's podcast.
We might be done because that was my one highlight.
I adored Octopath Traveler. I love the style. I really liked the story. It's one of those games that I liked JRPGs, but that pushed me into a new level of like I want more. It was kind of a gateway game in that way. And I thought when that trailer started rolling, I thought that was the game. I thought we were getting Octopath 2, which had me floored. Like you can go back in the live stream. Like I was yelling and I was happy. When I found out it was more of a tactical thing, it lessened my excitement a little bit, but I'm also excited for that to present the same opportunity that Octopath did for me, right? Being enamored with the graphics. I love that style. But I'm not a tactics guy. But I want this to show me the way into that. So I went from mountain high to kind of down again, but then I brought myself back up again. So
yeah, I was coming at it from the other angle, and maybe Dan is too. I don't know, but I think I love Final Fantasy Tactics, and this gave me that vibe again, and made me feel joy like I've never felt joy before. No, I can't go that extreme, but I do think that Final Fantasy Tactics is maybe the best game with Final Fantasy in the title, which is, I know, a bold take, but
wow,
I really love that take on it. And so this is like, oh yes, they haven't like released a new Final Fantasy Tactics game in a while, but this looks kind of like a spiritual successor. But I also really loved the look of Octopath Traveler. I love the visuals of that game. I just felt like there's too much grinding and I never finished it. So maybe this is like the perfect mix for me, like bring that style combined with a gameplay that I really want to play. I don't know, Dan, what about you?
Yeah, first a question for Al. Have you played Final Fantasy Tactics?
I've not.
Well, that explains why you don't like tactics games. I actually agree with Reeves. Final Fantasy Tactics is the best game with Final Fantasy in the title.
Wow.
I do agree with that. It doesn't get, it's not in mainline discussion now because people get really salty if you put that in there with the rest of the numbered entries. So, and that's fine actually because it's a different game. But seeing tactic style gameplay with Octopath's beautiful graphics and atmospheres, and we haven't really heard the music yet, but if it's Octopath, that game had beautiful music, beautiful everything. The game was really great to look at, even if you didn't like the grinding, which was part of it. It's part of the experience. I guarantee this game's going to have some mad grindage too. That's just kind of goes with the territory. But before I say that I'm going to experience joy from seeing it, I'm going to get my hands on the demo. And I really like that. That's awesome that we get to play a demo the day of. That shows a lot of confidence, right? Like, hey, this game's not going to be out till next year, but go take a crack at it and see how it is, like, is it that Tactics Octopath? Because that's a marriage in heaven right there. That's some great stuff together. We've been wanting a real Final Fantasy Tactics experience to dig into forever. Octopath really was a great proof of concept of what a modern day old school JRPG should be. There's been a lot of people have tried, many have failed, but Octopath I think lives up to that legacy.
Definitely. The Project Octopath Traveler was such a bizarre name, and they kind of made sense out of it in the end, and they stuck with the title. Project Triangle Strategy, not as good. Like, I love the absurdity. Right? Yeah,
they need to change nations. You got 3 nations. You can play as each nation. 3 triangle. I mean, I get it. Who needs a name when you got a game? play the game. They could call it like Bob's Day Out for all I care. If it's got good if it's got good graphics,
Honestly,
and good
Dan,
gameplay,
that's
I
a
don't
better
care.
name. Bob's Day Out.
I would play Bob's Day Out. That sounds great.
I would play Bob's Day Out. What is it about? I'm already curious. The name already has sucked me in.
Yeah.
I want to know more about Bob. What is he doing on his day out? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
It does sound like a really crappy NES game you would rent on like you go and like Mario Brothers 3 is already rented out. So you're like, all right, I guess I'll go for Bob's Day Out.
It does sound like that. I probably rented that game. That's probably where I got the name from. It probably exists out there somewhere. Anyway, that was my I think we all picked, that's a really good sign, actually, that three of us picked the same game that we're interested in, curious about, interested in knowing more about. I mean, again, I'm not bagging on the thing, right? Like everybody's had problems with getting stuff out, getting projects rolling, announcements, everything across the board. That's all gaming. I'm not slamming Nintendo, but man, a lot of that stuff was just like, hey, here's a game. You've had this game, and to package it in this giant, this is the big direct for the first half of the year. It's rough. It's a little rough to me.
I do have a question for you guys. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they mentioned anything about the Zelda 35th anniversary. Is there a chance we're still getting, because when they announced Mario's anniversary last year, they had a mini direct for it, right? Is there a chance we still get something Zelda related because we don't really know. A lot of that was either July to March, which I did that backwards, I don't know why, or 2022. So, like, we still don't really know what their fall looks like. Is there a chance we get more Zelda?
I mean, the official anniversary is 3 days from now, so I don't know how likely it is that we get another video.
Shadow Drop Zelda 2 remake, day of, please, please. Think about it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a little weird. I think we can still maybe hold out some hope, but it's not. I don't know. It's less hope than I had a couple days ago. Let's just say that.
And speaking of hope, those Metroid fans out there, boy, do they need?
Oh boy, what are you doing, Nintendo? By all accounts, that rumor is that thing is done and locked in, and
it's got to be right. Like
holding on to it.
The trilogy or whatever.
The Prime Trilogy collection for Switch. Yeah. I don't know.
Here's a question.
That's a game. Yeah. That's a trilogy I would love to like go through again. So
when do you think we're going to hear about the next Metroid Prime experience?
Number 4. That's why I think they're holding on to the trilogy, because they want to. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking they want to release that a little bit ahead of 4, and 4 just keeps getting delayed, and so that's why they're holding on to the collection. Doesn't totally make sense to me. Release it in a year where there is no Prime 4 makes more sense, but I'm guessing we won't hear anything on Prime 4 until maybe next year.
I don't think that. Go ahead.
My prediction is that they'll give us like, hey, here's your first look at Metroid Prime 4. It's not coming out till like, say like they like give us our first look at E3 this year, or whatever E3 ends up being this year, and then they're like, all right, yeah, that's coming in 2022, maybe even 2023. But for now, here's the Metroid Prime trilogy for Switch, like available today.
Yeah. I was thinking even 2024 for 4. I feel like I just saw the LinkedIn posts for people hiring at Retro. Like, that feels like that is so far away right now. And Breath of the Wild too. Like, the fact that they were like, we'll have more information for you later this year tells me like that is nowhere close.
Shadow Drop.
Yeah.
Shadow Drop.
How many franchises could do that? Zelda is definitely one of them.
I honestly think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be holiday 2022.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty, I don't know what to say after today. I'd say that if they would have had something to show today, that would be dead on. But right now, I think there's just too many unknowns.
I think they learned their lesson from Breath of the Wild 1, where they showed stuff way too early, and then people were just like waiting around for years and years for it to come out, and they kept delaying it year over year.
But now we're doing that again with
But look where it ended up. Like they didn't show anything. They could show a tree. They could show Link grabbing an apple off a tree, just like a
nom 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 nom. Yummy.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be enough, to keep everybody fiending for the next fix for Zelda. I like Breath of the Wild.
Bob's Day Out.
Yeah.
Bob's Day Out.
Listen, we need to stop knocking Bob's Day Out. That's a great
Bob's
game.
Day Out HD.
Nobody's knocking it, Dan.
A classic NES cart, all right, that I remember playing even though it doesn't exist, all right?
Well, it's Dan's childhood. How dare you?
It's your
All right,
Kazam.
well, I have a list of some of the announcements we could run down. We don't need to run down like every news story, but just to highlight a few that are maybe notable. They started off the show by announcing a new Smash character from the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise.
I know people are super hyped about that. Obviously, the Smash community loves every new character, right? But
yeah,
I know that there are so many
sword character finally.
I was gonna. That's the joke, right? But there are tons of like Xenoblade lovers in that community too. I can't figure them out, but they love those characters to make it into Smash. So good for them.
I'm not a huge Xenoblade person. This is what Pyra and Mithra, which is like the same person. I guess they can turn into two different versions of themselves. Hopefully, I'm not making a fool of myself. But hey, it looked kind of cool. Well,
yeah,
looked like fun Smash action.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they actually play.
Yeah, new Smash character unveilings always build the hype, right? So I'm glad they got that, to get the thing rolling. Now, where do we go from there?
But yeah, I don't know. They got to do. I don't know what they're gonna do with the next Smash. They'll have to like tear it down. They'll have to build about like 8 characters and make it super.
800 characters. Every character that's ever been in a Nintendo game is in this game.
Yeah. That's already what they're doing, Dan. They're already halfway there.
I love the idea of a WoW classic version of Smash where you just go back to the first 8 characters. That's great.
I don't know what else they would do. They've already gone big. Like they have to change it up.
I think I know money's on the table. It's crazy. You can't, like, Sakurai has said so many times, like, this is it. Like, he physically can't keep making these games. Like, we'll see. But I hope Smash Ultimate is what the name says it is. Ultimate.
Yeah, just keep bringing that forward on all future platforms. Like, all right, here's Ultimate for Switch 2. And just like add like maybe like 3 characters or something. Like people would be happy if this is the best version of Smash, even though people will still say Melee because people are stubborn.
They're wrong.
Okay, few more announcements. They showed off a new trailer for No More Heroes 3. Any No More Heroes fans in here?
Yeah, I'm a No More Heroes fan. That thing though, like when it happens, it happens. I'm a big fan of Travis. I really enjoyed No More Heroes 1. That's the game that kind of got me into the Wii way back when. I thought it was just so like bizarre and unlike other games at the time of the era. It was ready and willing and enjoyed taking big risks with its characters and just it was fun. It was fun, just dumb fun. Anyway, go on.
Shout out to our good friend Suda.
Yeah, hey, that's very true.
What up, Suda? There's another game. Actually, kind of looked like a Suda game, but it's not. Neon White. It's an Annapurna joint.
Yeah,
they're putting it out. It kind of looked like a shooter, but a very stylish looking shooter where you have cards or something. Didn't quite understand the gameplay.
I had no idea what was going on.
I didn't either. But here's the deal, folks. Annapurna hasn't missed, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm instantly, as soon as I see that I'm instantly intrigued.
Wow, you're attributing Annapurna to like some of the. All right, I got it.
Like,
I got it. I'm gonna remember this. I'm writing this down.
Okay, write it down. Like, but seriously, like Donut County, Pathless, Florence, like they have some really good games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then like most of the rest of the stuff on my list is like ports. So there's what Miitopia is coming out.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a big fan?
I love those weird Mii games from the 3DS. I want Tomodachi Life to come to Switch. Like that.
I never played that one.
That was awesome. I mean, I said this in our work Slack, but like that legitimately might be my second favorite 3DS game behind Link Between Worlds.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Like I love that game. It's so stupid and fun.
Very bold.
Cool.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, another announcement: Apex Legends is coming to Switch. Saga Frontier. Is coming. The remastered version of that.
I'm pretty hyped about that.
We already said you're hyped about Saga Frontier.
Yeah, I like the Saga games. They're really weird. For those of you who don't know the series, they're like Final Fantasy but weird. They have lots of like instead of just like leveling up, your characters have to like get a light bulb over their head when they learn new skills, and they kind of like everybody bags on Final Fantasy 2, including me, the original Final Fantasy 2, because like the whole like leveling system is really wonky. It's not about like getting level ups. It's about like getting hit by enemies to get more HP, and by using stuff you get better at them. It's a very, very strange system, but in other ways, it feels like a traditional Final Fantasy JRPG, but very different at the same time. You'll see. It should be fun.
Kind of like Octopath Traveler, where there's multiple playable protagonists, right? You can do multiple stories.
You go through each character's like storyline.
Cool. Well, I actually put together a list of all of the ports that are heading over to Switch. There's a list on the website if you want to check that out. It lists everything that got revealed or detailed in further detail today.
A
so
preliminary get wrecked.
That's right.
Whoa.
Stay tuned for more. And then later
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, that was kind of it. That's all. Again, wasn't a huge show, but it's good that we had another Nintendo Direct. Hopefully, this is the start of more regular things from them.
And we got Pokemon Day 2 weeks from now. No, 7 days from now.
8 days.
8 days. Excuse me. Yeah.
Or 9 days. 9 days. 9 days.
Within February, Pokemon Day is coming. So I feel like we're not done yet. So, but for today, we are. Or
could get some Snap news.
Say, Ben, before we get out of here, we give a letter grade to this Direct.
Sure. What do you guys want to give it?
I'm gonna
Come on, Shay. You don't have to do that.
C-.
Wait, what?
I was going to go C. Could be worse.
C-.
Great minds,
I think everyone's being generous. And are we grading on a curve here? Are we having like the COVID curve coming into this? Because
it has to, right?
Are we comparing apples and oranges? Because that's important here.
I mean, I think we see Breath of the Wild too. If it's not COVID era, you know.
Yeah, forget it. You know what? I'll just do it. I'll be the guy. Comments on YouTube. You can take me to task. C-. Do it. There you go. Boom.
What do you think, Alex?
I said C- as well.
Oh, you did? Okay. Fair enough. Any big predictions? What do you think is going to be Nintendo's fall game at this point? Are they going to have anything for the fall?
Animal Crossing.
I hope so.
Do you feel like they have a big spring game? Do they have anything big yet this year?
They have new Pokemon Snap coming.
Pokemon Snap, Bravely Default. We just got Mario. We'll get Mario Golf in July. June, and then Skyward Sword in July. That's actually like, as much as I know people aren't crazy about it, that's more of a trickle than we got last year, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Mario Golf or Pokemon Snap, but none of those games are as big as Animal Crossing was from last year either. So
Pokemon Snap's amazing.
That big tentpole game.
I'm excited for Pokemon.
Well, I'm not knocking the quality of the game. I'm just saying, like, there's no way it's going to sell as many copies as Animal Crossing did.
No.
But Animal Crossing again has a different. Everyone was literally, that was like prime quarantine days, right?
Like,
so
yeah,
the week everybody went into quarantine.
It was. I was playing Doom Eternal like in the last days of The Office, and then we cleared it out, and they came out on the same day. I think the fact that we're talking about this now means I feel like Nintendo has something else coming, or they're just going to ride the success of what they have.
They did say that this Direct would focus on the first half of 2021. So they've got to have some other stuff up their sleeve.
They did. They also said that we could expect more Zelda news this year, even.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean. Come on, that could mean anything.
Well, it could be anything, but why wouldn't they put it in a Direct?
Yeah.
They're not going to just.
What are they going to? They're not going to come out and say, "Hey, we have no information today, nor do we know when we will have more." That would just send people into a frenzy. They
could have said soon. They could have said at a later date. They didn't need to say this year, and they did.
And they said development going smoothly. So
they did say that.
Great. Can't wait for more. I think we've chewed all the flavor out of this one. I think we've gotten everything we can out of this Direct. So we should just move on. Let's do some emails. You guys ready for that?
Yes, I am.
All right. We'll be right back in a second with emails. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Informer Show. That's right. It's the hottest show around. We are going to do some emails. These are emails that you send us, the lovely listener, podcast@GameInformer.com. We'll take anything, honestly. Test us on that. But we love stories. We love games. We love just good old questions, such as this first one from Archie from Ireland. He says, "Hey guys, we're currently speaking to lots of. Oh, sorry. We're currently seeing a lot of developers turning their backs on their IP, and instead of making games based on existing movie franchises. For example, his examples are IO Interactive is working on that James Bond game, Machine Games is working on an Indiana Jones game, Crystal Dynamics, which just released Marvel, Sucker Punch for Spider-Man, I think he means Insomniac, and then Respawn with a Star Wars game. which hopefully they're making another one at this point. He says, I don't know about you guys, but I find this trend disappointing. These developers have proven that they have the ability to come out with totally original, never before seen ideas, but instead, they're going to make yet more stories that we've likely heard 1,000 times before in worlds that we already are all too familiar with. Do I really want another Star Wars story or another James Bond story? I don't want to sound too pessimistic, but I really feel as though this is a tragic waste of the talent and potential at these studios. I don't understand why these amazing creative teams would limit themselves to two worlds with pre-established rules and restrictions. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, that's a whole lot to take in, isn't it? Well, I mean, new IPs are scary. There's a lot of risk involved in new IPs. Whereas a known brand, the power of that in the marketplace is immense. Just absurd. Like if you make a Star Wars product, you're gonna sell units. It doesn't matter if it's garbage. You're gonna move units. You make a new IP, you don't know if it's gonna be hot or not, right? You can run all the focus groups.
Look at Respawn with Titanfall 2, which is widely acclaimed. People freaking love that game, and rightfully so. But I bet there's not even a fraction of the sales that it got compared to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, I think you guys are highlighting a good reason, like why they make licensed games. Mm-hmm. But do you guys personally like that? Would you, like, in a perfect world, would you like to see all studios just work on their own original thing, or do you like having an occasional IP game?
Let me look at this from an optimistic point of view. An optimistic way to look at this: utilizing those big brands, leveraging those big names, is likely to make the product a success, and hence the company will have more money to chase their own projects with if that is something they desire. Again, that's an optimistic viewpoint. It may not be entirely accurate, but I'm trying to look at it with in a good way.
But here's the thing also is all of those examples that the listener wrote in have recently or are currently supporting an original creation. Respawn has Apex. Yep. IO just put out Hitman last month. And what was the other one? Oh, Insomniac has Ratchet and Clank coming out in a couple of months. Yeah. So it's not like it's like, all right, well, abandon everything to make Spider-Man and James Bond. It's like there's still things coming along. I mean, I know Crystal Dynamics seem to have been pulled off Tomb Raider, the third one, in order to make the Avengers game, but I don't know if they're exclusively going to be doing that. And that's the big project for Square Enix. The fact that they got the Marvel license, they want to put one of the top studios on it, so it makes sense that they would have pulled them off.
Right.
I would like to see them do something new, but I don't think it's the end of the world if they do something like this occasionally, like alternate between like licensed property and other original ideas.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, the other argument where it breaks down for me is just, the other games that those studios are working on are also like established IP at this point. Tomb Raider, that franchise is super old. That's a mega franchise at this point too. It's not like it's a brand new idea. Or Ratchet and Clank, same thing. That franchise has been around for like 20 years at this point. And I like those franchises, so I want to see more of them. But I mean, in terms of like, hey, don't work on this, James Bond game. Give me this other franchise that is also really old. It just originated in video games, so that makes it better. I don't know.
And you can't do apples to apples on a gaming franchise compared to the greater universe franchise. Like you look at Tomb Raider, you can't put that step to step in pace with Marvel or Star Wars, right? Those are giga brands that just eat and swallow the world whole. So
but you could put Pokemon up against any of those.
Yeah, you could. Mm-hmm. You could do that.
Yeah, Pokemon's huge. I kind of wonder. Like, I mean, do you think James Bond is bigger than Tomb Raider at this point?
I don't have the information. That's a good question.
I don't know. They could be comparable at this point, to that point. But what I would personally like, I like a mix. I love that Spider-Man game that Insomniac made. I'm glad that they have it. I love Jedi Fallen Order. I'm glad that Respawn made that. But I don't want them to solely work on existing IPs. It'd be great to let those studios continue to make their own original stuff, which I think they are getting to do.
Which Insomniac did with Spider-Man, because that told a pretty original story in that, or I wasn't expecting it. I think the other thing too, why this doesn't bother me as much in games versus movies, which, you know, I think the trying to kickstart a franchise is killing the film industry, but that's another topic. Sorry, I just read Martin Scorsese's essay. But I think the difference is in video games, these are creators who also have a platform of gameplay and can put together, you know, diverse, awesome feeling games, even if there is a familiar backdrop of Star Wars, of Marvel. Like, not even considering like storytelling. I think, like, you know, Spider-Man has some of the best locomotion in games, and feeling swinging around that city is incredible. The sneaking and Knives Out mystery style gameplay of Hitman is incredible. You can't tell me that wouldn't work perfectly in a James Bond game. I think gameplay separates the two in a way that makes these games feel more fresh than just like, oh, there's Spy Kids 8 coming out. You know, when are they going to move on from that? I don't know why I drew from Spy Kids, but I think gameplay is differentiates enough to be I'm okay with it.
And also, you could say the same thing about the film industry as well, where it's like, or television. It's like, all right, we have all these amazing directors and everything working on Star Wars, working on Marvel, working on DC stuff. It's like, all right, well, that's what gets people to the theaters, you know? Like, if somebody came out, like Ryan Johnson, you said Knives Out. It's like, you know, if he came out with an original movie, it's not going to get the traction of if he was doing a Star Wars movie, you know? Like, people are going to go see Star Wars pretty much regardless of what's going on in it.
Yeah, which makes me sad because Knives Out is better than Last Jedi.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I like both of those films, so I'm not gonna. Knives Out is great. Wasn't there talk of him doing more Knives Out? Like, it's going to turn into a trilogy or something?
It's going to be focused on Benoit Blanc, which another franchise. Here we go.
Yeah. So in 20 years, we'll be talking about the Benoit Blanc. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about the LeBlanc franchise.
Yeah, the Matt LeBlanc franchise.
Can't wait. All right, next email. Justin from Salt Lake City writes in. He says, "Hello, informers of games. I recently just finished Last of Us Part 2. The 10 out of 10 review you guys gave, that was Andy McNamara, who's no longer with Game Informer, but we honor his review." I don't know why I said it like that. There's a lot of people on staff who thinks that's a 10 out of 10 game. Anyway, that review, along with the combination of love and hate from the internet, intrigued me to get into the series and see for myself what the fuss was about. Playing this series has changed my taste in games forever. Wow. I can't think of another game that has hit me as hard as this. Has there ever been a game that you guys played that raised the bar so much in a way that you were left feeling like all other games aren't worth your time? Kind of goes on to ask what we thought of the Last of Us narrative and if there are any other games that can compete with it narratively, which is kind of two different questions. So I'm curious if you guys want to talk about that, that's fine. But I'm kind of curious what you guys think if you've ever had that experience of playing a game and being like, wow, I don't think I'm ever going to play a game like that before again. I think it's kind of ruined me for other games.
I thought that about Ocarina of Time, which is why I loved Breath of the Wild so much, because when I played Ocarina of Time, I was like, all right, well, I'm never going to experience that like sense of wonder ever again in a game, because, you know, it's just going to be feeling like the same feeling that I have with Ocarina of Time, but been there, done that kind of sensation. Whereas Breath of the Wild kind of was able to give me that same sensation of not knowing what's going to be around whatever corner, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be cool. So I think that was definitely one that stuck out for me. And as far as games that rival The Last of Us narratively, I would say Red Dead Redemption 2, which, you know, I wasn't the hugest fan of that game as a whole. I thought it was a very, very good game, maybe even a great game, but it wasn't even my game of the year that year. But I will say that's one of the greatest stories I've ever experienced in a video game.
Definitely. The original Modern Warfare for me kind of changed the game. You know, I don't think there's many even multiplayer shooters, or excuse me, like military shooters today that rival what the feeling and sensation of that game. Especially because that was one of the first major games, right, to use major shooters to implement those RPG elements of, you know, unlocking your equipment and gear and stuff like that, and coupled with the impeccable map design, like of like backlot and shipment, like it was just like a perfect pairing where that was what I judged military shooters on from that point on. And that's why I'm more of a Call of Duty fan versus like a Battlefield fan, let's say. And it still holds up today if you go play the remaster or even the original one. Like that game still is just what Infinity Ward did in 07 was incredible, and that it set a very high bar for sure.
Yeah, Brian, you mentioned Zelda, and I was going to bring up Breath of the Wild anyway, just because that game for me was, I don't know, it was like opening my eyes for the first time.
Wow,
a bold statement, but it just, I remember finishing that game and like having trouble finding another game that I wanted to play because it just didn't feel like as fun as Breath of the Wild in my mind. And even now I kind of look back at it and I'm like, man, I wish I could go play that again for the first time. And I might go back and replay that again this year before the second one comes out. We'll see. But yeah, that one's up there for me. And also I think of Metal Gear Solid, which came out at kind of a pivotal moment in my life. And it just felt like so much more, it was so much more mature than any game I'd played up till that point. Not just like, swearing and bullets and guns and whatnot, but like just the storytelling they were trying to tell felt like a real serious adult story. And I thought that game was great. And I love it. And definitely shaped my interest in games going forward.
Definitely.
Cool. Dan, you never had that experience?
I don't, the way that this experience is like labeled and tempered, I don't want to say that it ever made other games worse for me, because that's not true. I enjoy a large variety of gaming experiences. I will say some of the experiences that I continue to chase are how sort of the Dark Souls games give you the paradox of challenge and triumph together. You got to get that victory rush. That's something.
Your own story.
Yeah. What?
No, you want to feel like you're a part of the story.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, it presents you with a challenge. You defeat that challenge, and you get a real rush when you win. It's like, wow, victory, like big time, like
chest, like yeah,
exactly. Like
you want a roller coaster.
So those kind of experiences, like that kind of a game that can provoke an emotional response of any kind, to me, is something I'm always looking for. And you
want the pop of eating a really spicy pepper.
Yeah, sure. I do like spicy peppers, so we'll go.
I'm just going to keep coming up with analogies until
I like it. I like spicy peppers, so I like it. We'll roll with it. Perfect. But again, I want to say, like, I just don't want to temper it with the line that, like, oh, this game was awesome, so therefore other games do not interest me. Like, I just feel like there's such a, especially today, there's just such a huge variety out there. If you don't like something, there's so many things to pick from. You're not stuck between McDonald's and Burger King. You got like 1,000 different restaurants on that road, and a lot of them are owned by, there's all kinds of. No, even past those, you got the mom and pops and all kinds of, like, even got the lemonade stand if you want to go to Itch.io, right? So, you got all kinds of choices. Make your choices and have a great time. Games are cool.
But to running with that analogy, there are times in your life, let's say you're on a road trip, right? And you like get your heart set on, like, man, for lunch, I'm going to stop and get Taco Bell. And you get your heart really set on that. And then the next 7 stops, like, you never see a Taco Bell. And you're like, well, I'm just going to have to compromise and get like McDonald's now. And that's not what I wanted.
Never.
But I would argue, if all you eat is Taco Bell, you'd be missing out on a food you might like even more. So you got to try everything on the block in order to get a good sense of your taste profile.
So you're saying I should stop eating Taco Bell every day?
Yeah. No, you can still eat Taco Bell, but maybe try one of the other places as well on occasion. See if
like
you might like
second lunch.
Don't be that person who like waits till they're like 50 to try, like, lobster or something, right? Or like I've heard ridiculous stories about, like, yeah, I've never had a steak at like 60. What? How does that happen? It's not like they're doing it out of any, like, vegetarian. It's not like any dietary thing. They just didn't do it. So, like, try new things, do things.
Go get the parlor burger.
Definitely do that. Do that twice.
Yeah. I want to do that. I haven't had a parlor burger in so long. All right. Charles from Brighton in the UK wrote in with a fun little game for us. He says, I hear you guys wanted some new games for the podcast, so I whipped together a little video game audio quiz for you. Some are obvious, some are tricky, some are impossible, but so hilarious I could not include them. So basically what he has these samples, audio samples from games. We're going to listen to them. Alex, you know all the answers, so you're not going to participate, but the rest of us have no clue what you're going to play. And will chime in if you know what game it's from. So try to guess the name of the game this is from.
Alrighty. Here we go. I'll start you off with an easy one.
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario.
Oh, man. It's a toughie.
This would be pretty easy. You want to hear it again?
Now, do we need to get the specific game?
Just the game, yeah.
But the specific game?
Yeah.
It's me, Mario.
Oh, no, wait. I know what this is.
Dan,
Ding.
Dan, ding.
Mario Galaxy.
No. Ding. It's Assassin's Creed 2.
Yes, it is. Ezio's uncle in one of the cringiest but greatest quotes of all time.
Yeah.
All right.
It did throw me, though, because at first I was like, this has got to be a Mario game.
Yeah, right? All right.
It got me.
Let's do, yeah. Okay.
All right, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make
Oh,
lemonade.
ding.
Make
What do you got?
Portal 2.
Yep. All right. Ben's on fire. Let's see.
Can't stop him.
Let's see. Okay, I got it. This is a fun one here.
Oh, look! An arrow! Aren't these game designers wonderful?
Wow. I don't know what that is,
Come
but
on.
I don't
on,
want
Jack.
to know.
Is that Conker?
It is a video game mascot-esque type of game. I'll play it again.
Conker's a good guess.
Oh, look! An arrow! Aren't these game designers wonderful?
I don't ding Bubsy.
You got it.
Wow, what?
What was one of the bad ones?
Dan,
Yeah, that was one of the bad
Bugsy
ones.
fan.
I was
That was
really.
one of the bad ones.
Dan, I was hoping you'd get that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's do this one.
Listen, there are some Bubsy games that I don't recognize as canonical, okay?
Taking the Disney approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is a man not entitled to
Ding,
the sweat
ding.
of his...
I dig first. Bioshock.
Yep. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, this is. Let's see. Do I want to do? Yeah. I'll be impressed if you guys get these next couple. Let's see.
I get some hard ones.
Do you know what you're doing?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. Can't you see? Man committed a sin, disturbing the life cycle of nature. The original sin that man is responsible to.
Ooh.
To protect the life cycle. This is the final battle. Show yourself. Our new ruler, the Emperor.
Okay, there's no way that that's real, right?
That is.
No, that sounds
That
real.
is
I just don't know
amazing.
like which horrible game or that's probably like a bottom basement JRPG or something.
It is
That's worse than like Symphony of the Night level.
It is a horror game, if that helps.
Oh, forget it. Just so many garbage.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, what is it?
It's House of the Dead 2.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
definitely gonna look this up after.
That's amazing. Yeah, we should go watch that's what we should do. We should watch like old crappy video game horror games and just, MST over them or something.
That's a really good idea.
Sounds really fun, actually. Okay, let's see.
Wake me when you need me.
Oh, ding. I'm going to say this is the first Halo Combat Evolved.
No.
Dang it.
Wake me when you need me.
Halo 3.
Hey, Shay gets a point. He's on the board.
Wow.
Halo.
Nice.
All right, should we do like just one or two more?
Yeah. For all the marbles here. Let's see. I've lost who's winning at this point. I think it's Reeves still. Let's see. Hoping this is a good one.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Ding.
Took an arrow in the
Mr. Tack.
Skyrim.
There you go. We'll do.
You got it even before the arrow in the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the whole line, baby.
All right, and then we'll do one more.
Oh, dang.
Time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I
Oh,
did.
that's hard. Yeah, I think Reeves gets the point because he dinged.
Oh, okay. Well,
We probably should set up a system where we just say our names.
Yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
a better system.
Yeah, next time.
keep them all.
Hey,
Yeah.
and he says he played that with friends over Zoom at one point. So it's maybe a fun idea for all the rest of you out there to put a game together like that with you and your friends. Check it out. All right. that ends the traditional email segment, which brings us to a segment of the show we like to call Terrible Video Game Character Rankings. We don't call it terrible. Hold on.
We remix the list? What's happening?
Yeah, we remixed the list.
Character rankings.
Maybe I'm feeling salty about it, but yes, the Game Informer's Ultimate Video Game Character Rankings.
So many characters, find out where they go on Game Informer's arbitrary ranking show. It's science.
This is where you write in characters that you want us to rank. We have a list on the site. It's called Game Informer's Ultimate Character Rankings. It's very easy to find by Googling it. And yeah, you write in a list of 3 characters you want us to add to the list, and we will add them. We're trying to come up with the ultimate list.
Not the
Every
terrible
character
list.
ever made on this list, best to worst. Right top of the list right now is Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. Nobody can beat him, apparently. And then down at the very bottom, Silver the Hedgehog from Sonic 06. Not a good character, I'm going to say.
Can confirm.
Yeah. You guys want to get going on this?
I would love nothing more.
I've never wanted anything more.
Okay.
That's the spirit.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of options here because we have a list of random fantasy characters, or we have a trio of cool characters, or we have Tyler's top 3 characters in video game history. What do you guys think?
Wow. We got a nice grab bag here, huh?
I kind of like Tyler's list.
Yeah, I think we got to go with dealer's choice here, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
The top 3 characters in video game history?
You were talking about someone's got to see an Arthur Morgan. Maybe he's in this list.
Maybe. We'll see. He says, I love the show. I agree with you guys a lot on the list. And for the record, I'm a pretty big Gex fan. Keep up the good work.
We're
Here's
in trouble.
my top 3 list of video game characters. Number 1. You guys ready for this? Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, Shay, did you peek?
I did not. I peaked in high school, but not to this list.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's so
I
sad.
don't know if I want to know more. That's yeah.
We're moving on. Where does Conker?
Yeah, I feel like that derailed us completely. Speaking of Conker,
I'm sorry.
I have a soft spot. I have a soft spot for Conker. I played that game back when it came out. Loved it. Championed it for Super Replay. We did a Super Replay, which you can go watch on the site. My terrible game playing. I don't think it holds up completely, but Conker is a fun, goofy. He's kind of like those old cartoons from like the 40s and 30s and 40s, right? Where he's kind of irreverent.
35.
Kind of a stinker. He's 35 years old, and I like him.
Yeah. So over Fox, you're saying?
I'm saying bump Fox down 1, put him between Mimir from God of War and Fox.
Okay. Better than Toe Jackson, though, huh?
Yeah. I've soured on him.
I mean, Toe Jackson's fine. He's kind of like the middle of the road character, I feel like. He's where the list pivots for me. Interesting. Fox McCloud's an interesting choice. I kind of want to bump him above Fox. Or, sorry, below Fox. I kind of like Fox better, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. You guys have any fondness for Conker?
It was before my time.
I don't know that Conker's aged very well. I don't know that matters for our list inclusion. The parameters for this list have always been kind of sketchy to me. I don't really know how it works. So I try to just make the most informed decision. I mean, he's got Tood, so he can't be in the last position. He's for the time and place, he was a hilarious little scamp, wasn't he? With a lot to offer. So if we acknowledge time and place, yeah, I'd say he's like middle to hot, middle plus on the list. In my
He loves money. You know, there's like little, I don't know, what do you call them? Packets of money? Is that what you call them? Giant stacks of money that are just floating out in the world with eyeballs. And they're like, hey, I'm money over here. And it's like one of the collectibles is you collect these stacks of money.
I like it. I mean, it's a game where you fight a giant turd.
Yeah,
it doesn't get much better than that now, does it, folks?
Hey, the game's got a lot of charm. Irreverent charm.
I don't disagree. Like I said,
Conker himself, again, he's a little stinker. He pees on fire, right?
A product of his time. Back when we were ordering Domino's by phone and thought the Noid was cool, you know.
I'm going to say there's worse characters out there. Is all I'm going to say.
What?
There are.
I was but a babe at this point. Did anyone actually think the Noid was cool, or did you guys just all shrug and go along with it?
Well, we were supposed to think Denoid was uncool because he was uncool, right? But he got us into he was our brand engagement vessel for Domino's. All right,
Well,
he was the bad guy.
destroying the pizza, right? He was destroying the pizza. And
He was like the Cookie Crisp burglar. Like he was. You want to get that pizza from the bad guy.
Oh,
yeah. Pizza was the hero in this scenario.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. Truly.
Yeah, that's why Conker should be number 35.
Done.
Done.
It doesn't get more logical than that.
I don't know. Does anybody else want to argue with me that he's better than Fox McCloud?
Maybe.
Or do you think he's
maybe
worse?
it's the Smash connection, and I think Fox has had better games, but I guess I don't know. That doesn't really. That's not the character, right?
All right, we're only the character.
Yeah.
It's so confusing, this list.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's above Fox.
Sure. Let's put him there.
Right below Mimir from God of War 2018, that talking head. Conker's bed for a day. Wouldn't it be great if they did another Conker? Maybe I'm one of the few.
It'll happen. Everything goes in cycles.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to the next character on the list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Again, remember, these are Tyler's favorite video game characters, so show him some respect.
We did.
Yeah, I'm just prepping you. Explosion Man from the game Explosion Man. The classic Xbox Live game from Twisted Pixel. You guys remember that? It's a solid platforming game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say right now, I can't weigh in on this one because I don't remember this game or character. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because you were on the development team.
We don't talk about that.
He's under
49.
NDA still.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a what? A shout out? What?
49.
49.
Tack. Sorry. Shay, tell us what you think of the character. Don't just shout out numbers. These characters are more than numbers.
Come on.
Well, no,
do you like Explosion Man at all? Explosion Man is a funny character. He's basically just a character that explodes a bunch, but
yeah, he's a perfectly acceptable platforming thing, but like
he doesn't
really have a character about him, you know? He blows up.
And so you said 49?
49.
That would put him above Little Mac.
But below Corvo.
I feel like Lamar, he has to go under Lamar, especially after the resurgence of the Lamar clip and Franklin from GTA.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a real good point.
Yeah.
I think he should go below Little Mac too, personally.
Yeah.
So that would put him next to Bubsy. Does anybody want Dan, how are you feeling about him going above or below Bubsy?
I play by the rules here, and since I don't know the character, I can't weigh in. We all know I love Bubsy. If I didn't prove that in that last segment, I don't know what will.
Yeah, you're a non-believer then.
But I don't know the character, so I can't really speak to it either way.
I say below Bubsy. I'll go to bat for Tack and Bubs.
More like a bridge too short.
Bubsy probably has more personality than Explosion Man.
Yeah.
Did Explosion Man say anything? He just sort of exploded,
I
right?
don't remember.
He made a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say
what I liked.
We got to control.
I liked the Everybody Loves Donuts character in that game. It was like a big fat scientist eating donuts, and there was a song that said Everybody Loves Donuts that started playing whenever he showed up.
That was cool.
Now that's a character.
Yeah. Rank that. Someone.
Yeah. Explosion Man though, I could go below Bubsy, so above Gex.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Sure, let's just sandwich it right in there.
Right in
All right.
I like that.
Explosion Man.
Yeah.
The new 53, I guess.
Didn't he say Gex is one of his favorite characters?
I think we gave Gex a good billing.
Yeah.
There's just an area of the list where all those 90 characters hang out, except for Conker. He ascended, but the rest of the edgy 90s gang is in its own like little crew down there.
I love it.
Okay, let's see how we do with this last character on this list. I hope I can pronounce it right, but
oh Lord,
Maak, M''AIQ. How would you guys say that?
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly.
Is this a real character?
Hang on, I get M''AIQ.
The liar from Elder Scrolls.
I don't remember this guy at all. But
he's a cat.
He is?
Oh, yeah, he's a cat guy.
According to the Elder Scrolls wiki.
But he's a liar, and I don't like liars.
A philosopher of sorts. Well, here's another character I can't speak to.
I was going to say, I'm abstaining on this one, too.
How much do you think Tyler just typed in random video game characters?
He might actually, this character seems pervasive in the Elder Scrolls universe. I just don't know it. Yeah.
Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, so it's a big deal.
A recurring source of misinformation, which, if I've learned anything over the last several years, recurring sources of misinformation are great.
They deserve to go on the bottom of the list.
I don't know. Unless anybody has any expertise here, I think we're going to have to recuse ourselves of this one. And
so you going to go get some Dairy Queen?
Dairy Queened?
Well, Dairy Queen for characters who aren't characters, right?
That's their consolation prize. You get but you only get a baby blizzard, not enough to satisfy.
No. See, the whole point of going to Dairy Queen is that you get something hot and something cold. All right, come on, gang.
Grill and chill. It's right there in the name. Baby. Grill and chill.
Give us a call, Dairy Queen. We're available.
I like their hot dogs. Yeah, please sponsor us, Dairy Queen.
Yeah, the burgers are good.
I'm going to say let's leave him off the list for now, and then maybe somebody else on staff is familiar with this character and wants to speak to him, or maybe somebody can write in and say, hey, why should you go back and reinvestigate those games and find out what this character's all about? Write in and tell us why.
We'll get Jacob back on to tell us why we messed up for Dan's sake. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I really have to see this now.
Yeah, go back.
Okay.
We all do
next.
Yeah, never mind. Keep going.
No. Next up, we can choose between a list that's platforming heroes who defined a childhood or characters of the feathered variety.
Wait, there's more?
Yeah, which list do you want?
Childhood definers is probably more interesting. I like Burbs a lot, but it's just going to be
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of me,
Alex, you're the deciding vote.
Part of me wants to see how long we can do this list without Mario on it, because I think that's funny in my own way.
If we go with the Burbs, I know I'm going to get a duck to pick, which is going to be awesome. But
I don't want to tease what's on the list, but Mario is not on his list.
Oh, okay.
Platforming then. I changed my vote.
We're doing platforming then.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sounds good. It says his name's Mason. He says, hey, GI crew, I've got 3 iconic characters. I hope we'll bring a good challenge to the table for you all. These 3 characters were a huge part in shaping my childhood in gaming. I'm honestly surprised they haven't been mentioned yet. And
if Carnage is on this list, I am just going to get up and leave.
I'm just double checking that they haven't been, because that does seem weird. Okay, well, first one. You guys ready?
Yep.
Crash Bandicoot from Crash Bandicoot series.
That's a tough one, isn't it? 23.
I was looking in that range as well.
You guys love just jumping straight to the number. Do you guys have any affection for Crash Bandicoot? You want to explain why you're just randomly picking 23?
He's fun, right? And I don't know why. That means that's great branding, right? I think he's fun and he's cool without being super edgy and annoying like some of those other characters.
Like a Bubsy character?
Era. Listen, I admit Bubsy's a little rough around the edges. He just needs love, okay?
All
right? Okay. He's great.
Like my nephew.
More like a bridge too short. All right.
All right. Well, Crash Bandicoot is good. I feel like it's hard with characters that don't ever talk.
Yeah. Here's the deal.
You don't really get much of a sense of their personality.
There's no way Crash is better than Alex Vance. Get it out of here. That's not happening. I was looking around the 35 rank because he's just goofy and fun and goes like Tasmanian Devil or something.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Let's put him under Bubsy. Let's put him under Bubsy.
we just ranked Conker. Is he better or worse than Conker?
Better than Conker, though, right?
Better than Conker.
You think so?
Better than
Conker. Or is Conker's offensive edge? Does that make him more interesting as a character?
I will say Conker has more personality.
Yeah, he does. But is it good?
Better.
I was going to say
it's better.
I need to see what those jokes were back in the day. Yeah,
they're as bad as you think they are.
and also we can't factor in just because a game is better than another game. That doesn't really factor in here. Just because a character's game is better than another character's game. The Crash games are, I would say, better than the Conker games.
I mean, with that argument, Crash is like a better character. He's like a legacy character, man. He's old school.
Okay, he's got like a super dopey look. Just the way he's like a giant triangle almost. The way he's shaped, it was just kind of absurd and kind of fun.
Yeah,
I guess.
How does he keep his head up? Now that I'm thinking about it, never mind. We'll
37
later.
I do love those old ads where he's like, they have the guy in the suit just making fun of people at Nintendo.
Yeah, him and Jeff Keighley are best buddies now.
Yeah, do you factor that in? Because that's technically the character.
That is the character. It's a canonical appearance.
I don't think that's canonical.
Well, I do.
It's not in the games. That's in a TV ad.
That's still media that includes the character.
Okay, but here's the thing: those ads were a person clearly in a suit because you can see the guy's face.
No. That's a real person.
That was the real Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, it's a real person. That's what I'm saying.
Crash, yo.
And also, he's in the real world. So I think in the ad, are we supposed to assume that's a person in a Crash suit yelling at the person?
We're supposed to.
Where are you drawing this information that it was a person in a suit in the commercial?
Because you can see the guy's face.
No, you can't.
When trick-or-treaters show up to your house, are you worried that they're actual ghosts and goblins?
Yeah.
Can you tell that they're
sometimes they are.
All right, fine. It was Crash Bandicoot in flesh.
Thank you.
All right, now that we've settled that, number 7.
But it still wasn't in the game, which I think we can draw a line on. All right, I'm willing to put him above Conquer at this point, but
let's do it.
I think that feels
Lock
good.
it in.
What do you guys think? Right above? Right below Mimir?
Do
above
it.
Mimir.
Do it.
Because Guybrush Threepwood is an interesting comparison too, and he's at number 33. So the Monkey Island character, who charted for.
I think Crash should be lower than him.
Yeah,
I think it should be lower than Mimir as well.
Okay,
I say right under Mimir.
Right above Conquer then. Perfect. We found the perfect spot for him, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, got another one. Very similar.
Okay.
When you guys hear Spyro, damn it, I ruined it. When you hear Crash Bandicoot, what's the other character you guys think of?
Come on.
Conquer.
Yeah, Conquer.
Guy Threepwood.
Of course it's Spyro.
Threepwood.
Yeah, Spyro the Dargan.
What do you guys think of Spyro? Hey, I'm just going to lay my cards out on the table.
Cute. I think he's really cute. He's like a bath toy that they turn into a game character.
That's a really good analogy. He is very cute. He talks too, which is great. And I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I think he's better than Crash.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
Personality-wise, yes. I say 29. Between Orin and Sam Fisher.
Adorable dragon. He reminds me of Lockheed from the X-Men 2, which is kind of fun.
Definitely. You said, where did you say, Shay?
I said 29. Between Orin from Final Fantasy and Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell.
Sam Fisher, huh? No
above
love.
Sam Fisher?
No love for Sam, huh?
I'm okay with that. One of them is a dragon. Sam's just some guy.
Yeah.
So, boom.
He's saved the world more than I have.
You don't know how many times Spyro saved the world.
That's true.
We didn't get to play those games. We haven't seen those adventures.
That's true. We're really missing that Splinter Cell Spyro the Dragon collaboration.
It's out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when you talk about adorable platformers, Mega Man's on this list, so that's an interesting comparison, right? I think.
I don't put him in the same category as adorable. I envision Spyro as just this like a squeaky toy. Like I said, Mega Man's cool, but he's not cute or adorable. He's a cool
he's at least cute. Adorable. Come on.
We don't talk about the original.
I think one above Mega Man feels right to me. Under Wesker, maybe above Wesker.
I will not put him above. I will not put Spyro above Mega Man. Mega Man is an icon.
Ooh.
Spyro's a brand.
Explain Mega Man's personality.
Cool dude who shoots things with a blue cannon.
Also saves the world.
The quintessential. Yeah, he's just the good guy, right? The protagonist.
That's a lot of list.
There, Shay, I've seen this list. Believe me, I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
All right, fine.
Around.
Wait. Hey, tell me, Spyro. What? Spyro's just a dumb dragon that does cute things and saves stuff and flies around.
You burped fire. Yeah. It's great.
That's not a personality either.
Correct.
Could it be that very few game characters have personalities? I don't know.
Maybe you're onto something here, Tack. Hold on. I'd be okay putting him under Mega Man, but I think that range is either above or below Mega Man is my vote.
What do we give to historical significance and legacy? Range. How do we factor that in?
I think
it factors in a bit.
Yeah.
If you took a card with Spyro on it, okay, we're gonna do the grade school test, right, where they show like Jesus or Ronald McDonald, right? So we're gonna go into a classroom. We're gonna have Mega Man on one card, and we're gonna have Spyro on the other card.
Which one's Jesus?
Way more kids are gonna know who Mega Man is. You're gonna be like,
Are we
that's
doing
Mega
this
Man.
today or in 1987?
I am conducting this focus group right now,
because
here.
I don't think that many kids today know who Mega Man is.
But more would know who Mega Man is than they would know who Spyro is.
I don't know if that's true at this point.
Skylanders.
But, all right, let's run the test. Get up. We're going to the grade school.
We can just zoom in, right? Anyone know a teacher? You'll be fine. We'll just jump in. So are you saying Skylanders would still be here today if it was Mega Man versus Spyro?
I am saying that Mega Man is a more recognizable entity in the video game universe.
Kids, I think.
That's it.
Well,
we're doing the test.
Go to the test, Dan. Also, this isn't the only factor we consider. So even if Mega Man has better,
I know it's not the only factor. I'm aware.
I think Spyro has more personality. He's cuter, I would argue. He's a dragon. Need I go on?
Here's the thing.
He shoots fire.
I've been arguing for Spyro. I just don't think he should go above the Blue Bomber. All right.
Okay. Well,
so
Brian and Alex, do you think he should go above or below?
I've done this with you multiple times. You know, I get Legacy mixed up in there, and I do think Mega Man's games were more meaningful, so that like sways me. I think Mega Man probably over Spyro, but that's also my reasoning for it. So I agree, he doesn't have as much personality as Spyro, but
So right below Mega Man is Guybrush Threepwood from Uncharted 4. I think Spyro can go above him.
I think that feels right.
Does seem fair.
We are populating the 30s in this.
Yeah,
segment.
no joke. Okay.
All right.
One more character to rank. You guys ready for this?
No.
All right. It is you know him, you love him, Sir Dan from Medieval.
Oh boy, what a
I do know
boring
him.
character. I don't know, 45.
I think he's maybe not a great character. Personally,
I
he
agree.
kind of looks like a dope. I never really liked his design. He's just a skull with a weird eye.
I have a hot take.
Again, has no personality. So what is this guy?
Put him below Funky Kong.
Whoa.
No.
55. Below Navi. 56.
He ain't that bad. Come on.
Well, so once you get that low, you're getting into characters who are actively like annoying and bad. Whereas
look at
Medieval, Sir Dan is a bad design, but like has no personality. So he's kind of like a nothing character in that regard.
Yeah, I think he's inoffensive. In fact, I hadn't thought about him for probably 6 months until you just brought him up. So yeah, he's pretty much the most like nothing character there is. He's like a whisper. Unless somebody's talking.
July of 2020, you were just sitting around your apartment and you're like, Sir Dan.
Sir Dan.
No, that was probably when there was some announcement about the Medieval remaster, remake, or whatever the hell it is. Right?
I forgot.
That's probably where it was.
Wow.
Yeah, see? You forgot. Nobody cares about Nobody cares about Sir Dan. He's a disgrace to my name. Throw him in the trash can and get him in the 40s where he belongs.
He's in the bottom of the Dan power rankings.
That's what I was going to say, Dan. If we could get the Queen to knight you, you would be Sir Dan.
I like this. We're doing this.
Should we start a petition somehow? How do you
right after I get out of the classroom with my flashcards, I'm going to the Queen and I'm demanding knight.
Can Americans be knighted, or do you have to become a British person?
Well, let's just say that we'll do whatever it takes.
Yo, Lizzie, what you doing? She's probably not doing much right now.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah,
I'll give her a call.
Yeah,
I'll give her a call.
We'll make it
happen. Speed dial.
Hey, write in if you want the Queen to do this. You should probably write her too.
Yeah,
I'll do it. I'm not even joking. We will show the letter on the next show.
The single letter we get about this. I think
the one I'm going to send the Queen.
Oh,
I think this all means that Sir Dan should go above Funky Kong. So above Funky Kong, Tom Johnson from the hot dog salesman from Shenmue is on the list.
Tom Johnson rules.
And I kind of like Tom Johnson, honestly. So I think it should go right between the two.
Hang on. I don't think he doesn't deserve this kind of billing.
Tom Johnson.
He's a protagonist. He's got his own story. Tom Johnson is just a dude who sells hot dogs, and he's nothing. Right? Like this character is not exciting.
The guy does.
He's got his own game,
dance parties or something.
This guy's he's got key art of him. Okay, he's got a box art. Tom Johnson is a zero.
What if Tom
Dan,
Johnson's
have you ever
selling?
seen Tom Johnson?
You swung hard on Sir Dan there.
I did. I'm saying he's not a good character, but the bottom, you're talking about the actual dregs of the characters here.
Between Tom Johnson and Funky Kong.
Yeah, he's above Donkey Kong. He's above Navi. He's above Silver the Hedgehog.
Well, thank
Tom
you for
Johnson
that.
is not actively bad.
Funky
Kong is where it starts going that direction.
Okay, all right.
Do you think Sir Dan, the besmircher of all good Dan names, is better than Bubsy?
No.
Okay, so at least gives us a little room there.
I think we found it. I think he's right between Tom Johnson and Funky Kong. I don't know where else he would go at this point.
Okay.
Fair.
All right. There he is. Sir Dan coming in at number 58. We now have 62 characters on a list. You can check that out on the website, which I'm going to recommend you do. Go to our website, GameInformer.com. Perfect segue into our last segment of the show, segment we like to call Get Wrecked, where we recommend things to check out. See, Dan, you want to go first?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Get Wrecked,
Yeah,
where we go wild with the awesome stuff at GameInformer.com. We always love it when you visit. I guess anything Valheim, really. If you're interested about that game, if we talked about it earlier in the show, if any of that stuff interests you, I got a good piece up called "What is Valheim and Why is Everyone Playing It?" And by everyone, I don't actually literally mean everyone. I got a lot of emails about that. Okay, I just mean the greater the greater attention of the gaming world. Okay, I want to be clear. All right, check it out. It's cool. Peace.
Deuces.
Cool, Alex. What about you?
The GI crew has been doing a little streaming lately. Without my ugly mug on it too. Dan and Alex did an awesome Valheim stream. Kim and Liana did a Yeast. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeast?
You know, there is no wrong way to pronounce it.
Yeet. A Yeet stream then. And we've been having a lot of good conversations around games, and they've been a lot of fun to watch. So if you go to our YouTube page and go to playlists, we have a live stream archive that you can go check out. I highly recommend you do. It's good to have on in the background. If it's games you love, great. But if not, there's a lot of good conversation in there. So definitely go check that out.
Cool. What about you, Brian?
So I wrote a thing last week because the Pokemon 25th anniversary is coming up on February 27th, which, by the way, is also my birthday. And I wrote what I want from their 25th anniversary celebration. Just announcements I would like to see come out of Pokemon Day this year. Go check it out.
Shay, for your
Happy birthday.
Getting you Pokemon Unite. Does that sound fun?
Thanks. Yeah, it's not on my list.
Shocking.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, I'm going to recommend there's this interview on the site from Blake Hester creating the iconic beasts of the Monster Hunter movie. I think Blake is our resident Monster Hunter movie expert. Not about the games, mind you, only specifically about the movie. Seems wildly fascinated about the movie, and he saw it, so maybe we'll get his opinion on it at some point. But yeah, he interviewed the guys who did some of the effects and talked to them about creating the monsters in the film. And go ahead and check that out if you're curious. And if you're not, hey, I'm not forcing it on you, okay?
That's not what we're about here.
Yeah, we're not about that here. That brings us to the end of the show.
I found a Shenmue wiki, and there's a Tom Johnson page, and I recommend everybody go check that out.
Yeah, get a look at that guy. Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of the show. We love you for it. Please like and subscribe to the magazine. But whatever you do, please come back next week. Until then, game on.